Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is Monday morning chats with Sack, and Sack is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I had a good weekend. I thought that this weekend would be pretty much me just sitting in the house, cleaning, and doing laundry. But I did that, and I did some other things. So it was a good weekend. I got a chance to celebrate my aunt and uncle, their 38th wedding anniversary. So shout out to them. I got a chance to catch up with some friends that I didn't catch up with in a while, and it just felt really good to connect with them. And our conversation sparked what I want to talk about today. And so today is May 2nd, so happy May. This is the first Monday of the new month. May is mental health awareness. And so if you've been watching my videos for some time, you know that I'm a big advocate of therapy and how your mental health, it really matters. And just trying to figure out what should you do on a daily basis to help you with your mental health. And so if I had to label this, I will tell you what I have done for my mental health, what I do on a consistent basis. What did the lockdown teach me? Like, what did I do during the lockdown? And the last part is, it's so hard to say goodbye. So what do I do for my mental health? So one, I do work out. I work out about 5 times out the week. Excuse me, my allergy. So I also make sure I eat healthy. So I change how I eat, and I change my thought process with eating. And I've been able to lose weight. And so I will say from the beginning of this year up until now, I lost over 15 pounds. So that feels good. No, almost 20 pounds. And so what I realize is that, if you want the body that you want the image that you want, whatever you want to look like, to feel like, you have to be dedicated. And so March of this year, I made a dedication to stay consistent with working out. I think for me, it's not hard losing weight. It's a matter of being consistent with my weight. And so my weight will fluctuate. And so I just made a decision to say, hey, I want to stay fit. And so I made that decision, and I'm working out, and it feels good. I'm stronger now. And the only thing is now is that I have trouble trying to figure out what I want to wear for work or just in general, because my clothes are getting baggy. So other than that, yeah, so it feels good. So I work out. I read affirmations every single day. Like, I read them every single day. I read something positive. When I'm at work, I try to listen to something positive. You are what you think. And so if you are filled with negative thoughts, that's what you will become. And so you have to really listen to positive things, in my opinion, I think. And you have to speak positive things over your life. How can you expect great things? How can you expect to want the better for yourself, and you're not putting those things inside your soul? And it's just like, let's say you have a plant. If you want to water it, you want it to grow, you have to water it. But that's the same thing with our souls. If we're not feeding our souls with good things, how can we nurture it? And so you want to make sure that you're telling yourself good things, you're telling yourself positive things. And this kind of ties into, what did I do during the lockdown? Oh my God, can you believe it was 2 years ago where we were just locked down, nothing was open. I think around this time, like, some places, they just had carry out only, but you were scared to be around people because of the coronavirus, and everyone wanted to be safe. And so what did I learn in the lockdown, and what did I do in the lockdown? The thing that I learned in the lockdown is that hugs are so important. This idea of physical touch was lost. And I thought that was something that I can escape, but I realized that, man, I really need that. Even though that's not the number 2 love languages for me, like, I still need physical touch from certain people. Now, I'm not a big hugger to everyone, but someone that I'm really close to, yes, I love to hug, and, family members hug, and, tell them, hey, I love them. But that physical touch was important, and I realized how important it was during the pandemic. And it wasn't until 2 years ago I hosted a motorcade for my cousin that was graduating from grad school. And, what we did was everyone got in their car and we decorated everyone's car with congratulations. I made food for her household and we were playing it safe. And then it got to the point where everyone took off their masks and gave each other a hug. Cause we was like, wow, this has been forever. And most of us, we didn't see each other about, the last time we saw each other, that was May. We saw each other last year at my uncle's memorial service in September 2019. So we were still trying to, we're still grieving and, still trying to, I'm not going to say get over it, but just processing everything. And so that's what I realized, during the lockdown, hugs are important. They are needed. And so if you have someone near you, make sure you give them a hug. Show them that you love them. What has the lockdown taught me? What was I doing in the lockdown? I realized that no matter how many times I read my Bible, no matter how many times I went to Bible study, no matter how many times I read affirmations, I realized that being in the house and being stuck in the house and someone telling me, hey, I can't go out, it really bothered me because I like to go. I like to get up and go. And so just knowing that I just can't get up and go, it would bother me. But I think the thing for me was no matter how positive I am and no matter how many times I read affirmations, I realized that I needed more. And being in the house made me realize that, hey, there were some things that I suppressed that I really want to bring to the surface. There were some things my parents lived with me during the pandemic, and I realized, hey, there were some things that still bother me. There were some things I thought I forgave and I didn't. But it's a matter of, sometimes for me, I'm always on the go, that I realized that sometimes I didn't really thoroughly express how I felt or I didn't let it out. And the lockdown showed me hey, you have nowhere to go. You can't go to your friend's house. You can't go anywhere. You got to let this out. Even though you suppressed it, it's still there. And even though you read scriptures, it's still there. And even though you read affirmations, it is still there. And so what are you going to do about it, right? We're all human. No matter how positive I am, I realize hey, this still bothers me. And I didn't realize it until the lockdown because I had no choice but to sit in my own thoughts and process them without escaping them. A lot of times, I would say pre-COVID, a lot of times it's easy to escape our thoughts. It's easy to escape our feelings because we're so much on the move. And I know for me, when I first moved to Baltimore, I was always on the go. I worked. I was still working in Baltimore, but I was on board positions in DC, hanging out in happy hours in DC. So I was just on the go. I didn't really relive in the fact that I purchased a new house. And even though I was buying stuff for my house here and there, and shout out to my family because I think now that I'm looking at things, I got over $10,000 in gifts, gift cards. So I had a lot of stuff. So it was easy for me to spend $500 here, $600 because I got it from my family. My family really looked out for my housewarming. But I was just always on the go. I was always on the go. My church is 45 minutes away from me. So it's closer to DC. I'm not giving up my church. And I just found after church, going to brunch, hanging out with friends. And so if there was something that bothered me, something recent or something that was old, I didn't worry about it because I was on the go. Now, there's some things, don't get me wrong, throughout the years I have healed from. Yes, I have healed from. I had dealt with that. Those things. But there were some things that I didn't deal with. And it was just suppressed. I thought that I got over it. One thing that my pastor always says that, sometimes it's easy to forgive people when they're not around you. But what happens when you see them, right? And that's what happened to me. There were some things I thought I forgave my parents on and I didn't. And it's nothing against them. My parents are great. But I realized hey, I am 34 at the time. And I was hey, 33. And I said, hey, this still bothers me. I don't know why, but it still does. And how do I have a conversation without hurting their feelings? But at the same time, how do I have a conversation with letting them know, like, hey, these are my feelings and this is how I feel. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm just telling you, like, hey, this happened and this is how it made me feel. Like, this happened and this is how it made me feel. And I was able to really, like, process that, like, really sit in my thoughts. And it's crazy because I didn't realize, like, you know, last week I talked about, you know, the journey through healing. And healing is a process. You go through things. And I'm not afraid to say this, but I remember that one point in my life, I got an abortion. And it was 6 years ago. And it was a scary thing. And it was, I mean, I had all these work, like, I was just terrified. I was scared. I was nervous. But it was an after effect. Like, I remember going to the clinic, and I remember driving up. My best friend drove from Philly to take me. And I remember going, and I'm seeing, like, all these signs. Like, you are a killer. And I just felt so bad. And I was like, this is not my time to have a kid. Like, this just was not this was just not the picture for me. Like, it wasn't. And I'm not afraid to share the story. At one point I was embarrassed. And I remember after the fact, like, I struggled with Mother's Day. Mother's Day is approaching, right? This Sunday. And I struggled with that. So that happened in 2016. I struggled with that for 2 years, right? Because I just kept saying, like, Dad, like, I could have celebrated Mother's Day. And eventually I got over it and said, you know what? This was a good decision. And this was the best decision for me. I don't care what nobody had to say. I don't care if you judge me. This was the best decision for me. And I remember in 2018 when I started looking for a house, and when I realized, like, hey, I want to be a homeowner. When Mother's Day came, it didn't bother me. And I made a decision to forgive myself. And I actually shared it in Bible study. At first I thought, like, oh God, but around all these saints, I'm telling them that I did this. They're like, girl, you got to go. But it wasn't like that. Like, they were very welcoming. They prayed over me. My group prayed over me. And it was okay. Like, I realized it was okay. But the healing journey, you go through things. So that was one hurdle, right? It was one hurdle. And with the lockdown, it really taught me that, hey, you're positive. You know, you can handle certain things. And I realized, like, I was an emotional crutch for a lot of people. Like, I was always pre-COVID, like, I was sending positive messages to people. And people like, you know, you always brighten my days, Takina. Like, you always add sunlight to my day. And it was at times where during the pandemic, I was like, I just really need sunlight. Whether it's like that physical sunlight or the sunlight in form of a human being. Like, I need that because I can't give it out right now. And I realized that was okay. Like, it's okay knowing that I too have bad days. No matter how perfect I'm not perfect. No matter how positive I am, not perfect. No matter how positive I am, like, I still have bad days. And, like, that's okay. And I realized, like, hey, even though, like, I shed my sunlight to others, it's okay to take it back and say, hey, I need it for me today. That's okay. Like, that's what I learned in the lockdown. I remember someone saying to me, like, Sakina, like, you haven't really sent me a scripture, or you haven't sent me this. And I said, hey, I'm also going through this too. I'm in a lockdown just like you. And I know that I've been consistent pre-COVID, but I'm still trying to process all of this. And I have so much stuff going on in my household that I have no escape right now, right? And so I've learned that it's okay to just say that, hey, I don't have to be there for everybody if I can't be there for myself. Like, that's okay. And I did that. But all of that made me realize that no matter how positive I am, no matter how many affirmations I read, I realized, like, hey, the next step is I can read therapy tools and I practice those, but no one's not talking back to me, right? And I practiced those and it helped me, but I was like, you know what? I need more. I want more help. And I made a decision to go to therapy. And I went to therapy January 2021, and I was going every week up until April. And then after that, my therapist was like, well, I mean, we did everything that you wanted us to do, and you know, is there anything else? Like, I think you're fine. And I told her, I said, hey, I want to continue to stay in therapy because I just learned that throughout life you go through different things, and how do you process it? And so I had my therapy session, I want to say, I think 2 weeks ago. And that was the shortest therapy session ever. I was just like, honestly, like, I feel like I'm in a good place, and these are the things that's happening. And so the next time I do talk to her, it will be when I start my new job. Like, how do I feel? How are my emotions? And, you know, as much as I check on other people's emotions, like, it feels good to be checked on too. And I've learned that. And I've learned that, you know, I want to be around people that feels like sunshine. I want to be around people that are positive, right? I want to be around good people. Like, I deserve that. And that's okay to ask for that. It's not asking for too many things. And this kind of ties into the next thing. Like, it's so hard to say goodbye. And I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday. We went out, did a little retail therapy. I deserve it. She deserves it. I got things on sale, though. Definitely got things on sale. And it is gala season, so I'm going to 2 galas this month. And so it's cool. One is to support, well, one, my new board is having. And then the second is support another president of another bar association. So back to back. And I told her, you know, she said to me yesterday, she said, Sakina, you know, I was just having a bad day. But the moment I was in your presence and talking to you, like, you make me feel good. Like, your energy is so positive. And it just makes me feel good. And she started asking me, like, so what's new? What's going on in your life? And, you know, just start, you know, of course, just being a girlfriend, just catching up. And, you know, we talked, and I told her some things. But the thing that I told her is, I said, you know, I know exactly, and I tell people this all the time. Like, they ask me, I'll tell them. But I know what I want in my life. I know the people that I want to be surrounded by. I want to be around people that feels a little bit like sunlight, like sunshine, positive people. If you're all, like, it's okay to have a bad day, but if every day is a bad day, like every single day is a bad day, I don't know if I could really handle that. Like, I don't know. And so I told her, I said, these are a few things I ask for all people, whether it's my friends, romantic relationship. This I don't ask for a lot. Be honest. Be loyal. Be supportive. Be supportive. I don't ask for nobody money. I don't need it. I have my own. If you give it to me, that's extra. I'm not a millionaire. I will be. But I don't ask for nobody money. I don't ask for people to buy me things. I practice my love languages on myself. Like gifts, even though that's not like my top love language, words of affirmation and quality time. So it is being honest, being loyal, being supportive. Being supportive is, if you know that I have an event, try to come. If you know that I'm speaking, try to show up. Or send me a text like, hey, wish you well, like you got this. Those mean more to me than anything. I like to give people their flowers while they are still here. And flowers may not be in a physical form, but it's just the metaphor of just showing up, right? Just being here, just being a good person. I got these. First of all, I love yellow flowers, like all type. My top, these are beautiful. I like yellow flowers a lot. I love, just my top 2 are yellow roses and yellow tulips, but I love yellow flowers. And my students got me this. My students, I took them out to dinner last week. These are the students that are in the Black Law Students Association, and it stands for the abbreviation is BALSA. And I was BALSA president for my chapter when I was in law school. So BALSA means, it's near and dear to my heart. I served as the advisor this past academic year, and it was great just being there for the students and showing up. And that's the one thing that they said to me, and the one thing that they gave me on the card was, I'm going to read the card. It says, may kindness return to you in the same beautiful way it was given. And so and like I told my girlfriend, I said, I just want to be around kind people. Like, I like to be kind. And I want that to be given to me. And I guess, kindness was instilled in me from my grandmother and my great-grandmother. It's like to always be nice to people and to always treat people right. Like, I've learned that at a very, very early age. I don't know how to be nasty to people. I don't know how to be mean to people. Like, I wasn't raised that way. Like, I wasn't raised that way at all. So people that are honest, that are loyal, they're supportive, kind people. Like, not just kind to me, but how do you treat other people that are around you? How do you treat people that are around you? And then can we be happy for each other? Like, if I ask for support, that's because I'm gonna support you. And someone that communicates. Like, if you realize you don't want to be my friend, tell me. It ain't gonna hurt. If you think that it's gonna hurt my feelings, please tell me. I have thick skin. No matter how I may appear, I have thick skin. I grew up with brothers in my house, so I know how to be rough. Tell me, like, if you realize, hey, Sakina, I don't think you're a good friend. Tell me. If you think that, hey, I'm not showing up for you, tell me. I need to hear those things. And I realized that, like, that's what I want. Like, and that's okay to ask for those things. Like, that is absolutely okay. Like, I realized that, this is so sad to say, and it's not throwing shade, but I realize, like, sometimes some people, like, follow my stories, like, all of my stories, and these are people that maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say we had a falling out, but I realized, like, I've just stopped communication, and I guess their way of trying to see what I've just made my profile, my social media profile is public. Like, it is what it is. What you see is actually what you see. You see me posting positive things, that's just because I'm a positive person. Now, you want to know, like, what's going on in my personal life, you got to be real close to me, and not that many people are, so you may not know what I have planned after work or anything. I don't post that. Like, that's just nobody's business, right? So I just realized, like, sometimes, like, I'll see people, like, just keep following my stories, and these are people that I know, and I'm like, hey, if you want to have a conversation with me, like, my number, you're not on the block list, like, you can call me, we can have a conversation, and I'm open to that. But I just realized that those are the type of people that I want around, and if it's not it, then I don't want it. Like, some people think gifts are something that keeps me excited, but the gifts that make me happy, that adds to my happiness, is the unexpected ones. Like, if you have a birthday, it's expected that someone's going to give you a gift, right? It's your birthday, right? Christmas, yeah. The ones that are just unexpected, like, I remember I used to get, like, random, like, Amazon boxes. I'm like, what is this? And it was just unexpected, and that's because somebody listened. But yeah, that's all I want. Honesty, loyal, supportive, communicator, and someone that's kind. I ask that for everybody. That's it. I don't want you to write me a check. I don't want you to buy me the biggest bag. I don't need none of that. I really don't. So, the last part, which is the sad part, if I had to label this, it would be, it's so hard to say goodbye. And so today, my colleagues, they're giving me and my other fellow colleagues a farewell party, because this is the end of my fellowship. At my university that I work for, and then I'll be moving forward to another position as a tenure track position as a assistant professor and clinical director of a low income tax clinic in DC, in the law school in DC. And this will be an emotional day for me. I will say that because I remember 2 years ago from this day, in May to be exact. Like I remember like sitting in my ladies' den, and at the time I was working at an accounting firm, and I realized that although I had aspirations to be partner there, like that was my goal, to work up to be partner. Like I was strategic. But I realized that it's okay to change the plan. And I changed it. And I just prayed and said, hey, I just want to teach. I just don't know how to get there. And I just realized that, sometimes you have to step out on faith. And sometimes, like, if your dream's scary, that means they're really big. So just try it. What's the worst that can happen? And that was the mindset that I had. And so I was, I got used to my colleagues at my accounting firm, and I missed them. But this goodbye is different. This goodbye is different because for once in my career, I felt supported. For once in my career, my colleagues encouraged me. For once in my career, my colleagues had my back. And that's hard to come by. And even though I enjoyed jobs that I had in the past, like this job, I look forward to going to every day. Like I look forward knowing that I know that I'm going to teach students. I look forward knowing that when I go to work that I'm working on a lesson plan, and I'm figuring out what can I do to become a better law professor. Like I look forward to that. And I could honestly say that I didn't have that experience with other jobs. Like I was happy to go there. Like I liked what I was doing, but I had something to look forward to. And that is hard, right? That is hard, knowing that you establish these relationships with people. And even though I'm going to see my colleagues at different conferences, like I have conferences that I have to go to this summer, but just knowing that, wow, I'm not going to see them when I go to work in the fall. Like I'm not going to see them. I'll email them, I'll call them, but it's nothing like going into the office and saying good morning and seeing their face. So this is different for me. They have been so supportive. One of the things I told my Black law students, I tell them this all the time, is that be open to receive help from someone that doesn't look like you. And in this fellowship for 2 years, the people that helped me the most was white women. And I appreciate them. So it's sad knowing that I'm going to leave, but I'm on to something bigger. And so I read something that said, be afraid to say goodbye. Don't be afraid. No, be afraid. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, you'll be open to the new hello. And I just realized, like, even though I'm sad, and even though, like, my secretary was like, I'm gonna cry, Sakina, when you leave, it's just, I'm just gonna miss working with you. And those are the things that it's like, wow, I'm gonna miss that, right? So even though I'm saying goodbye, this goodbye is knowing that I'm on to something better. And one of my girlfriends asked me about somebody, and she was like, is there another chance? Or, what are you going to do? I was like, there's no other chance. And I told her that, I think that honestly, certain goodbyes are very, very hard, especially when you enjoyed the journey, right? You enjoyed the time. And I said, most goodbyes are difficult. People say goodbyes are easy. Maybe they didn't like what they were doing. Maybe they didn't like who they were with, or whatever it is. Maybe they just didn't like the person, place, or thing. But when you really like something or like someone and you have to say goodbye, most times we don't want to, but we know that we have to. Like this job, this was a job that was setting me up to get the job that I have now. So I was expecting this goodbye. Like I was expecting to leave, but I didn't expect how much of an impact they would have on me. In friendships and relationships, the goodbyes that are hard are the goodbyes that you don't want to walk away from. Like the people that you don't want to walk away from. But you know that if you stay, that it's not going to go anywhere. And so you got to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What's stopping you from walking away? What's stopping you from saying goodbye? Because if you stay, right, you don't even know what's on the opposite side. And so I told my girlfriend, I said, yeah, it's hard to say goodbye. It's hard to say goodbye to people that you love. It is. I said, I'm a soft person. Like, I'm a very soft person. And yeah, I get emotional about things because I love on people. And when I do love on people, I love on people hard. But when I had to say goodbye, I just knew that in my heart that I wanted them to stay. But I just know that it's not helping me if they stay. And so being open to know that, hey, I can close this chapter and know there's something even better. I just can't see it, right? I don't know what it looks like, but I just know that I will never know what it is until I close this door. So that way I could be open and be ready for the new hello. I don't know what it is, right? And so I read something where it said that even though I can't see it, even though I can't touch it, I have to believe it in my heart. And so when it comes to relationship and friends and the people I had to walk away from, even though I said goodbye, it doesn't mean that love has died. It just means that I had to close that chapter and move forward to what's to come. I don't even know what's to come. I just know it's something better. But even though I can't see it and even though I can't touch it, I just really believe it in my heart. Like, I really believe it. Like I told my girlfriend, I said, I believe all these things. I said, I know exactly what I want in my life. I said, these are the things that I manifested. And I said, I know that I'm going to get it. I just don't know when. And that's the tricky part, right? And that's the part where you're anxious. Like, okay, well, when is this going to happen for me, God? Or when is this going to happen? And then when I started thinking about being anxious, I just started to think about this timeline and things that I had that I wanted for myself. Like 2018, I remember being in my apartment. December 2018, being in my apartment, crying on the couch, saying, God, like, God, this was my best income tax course that I ever taught. I gave my students this is my second year teaching at the community college. Gave my students, the first year I gave my students I always give students a piece of party. The first year, they ended up giving me gifts. I was like, what the hell? I'm trying to treat y'all. Second year, I gave a piece of party, but the gifts were even better. Like, they figured out what type of stuff that I like. They got me like pearls. They know I like pearls, and they just went all out for me. And it wasn't the gifts. It was the speeches that they said. And I don't like crying in front of students, but when I went home, I cried. And I was like, I want to teach, but I know that I can't teach community college forever. And I know that if I have the opportunity, God, to teach a law school, like, I really want that, but I just don't know. And I started to count myself out. Like, God, I'm not the top of my class. I did well in law school, but I'm not the top of my class. I know that's what they look for. Yeah, I was on law review. Yeah, I was on all these good things, all the things that the smart people did. I did all those things in law school. And I was like, but I'm not sure if that's enough. I'm not sure if I'm able to get there. Moving forward, I worked at an accounting firm that I wanted to work at. 2020, I prayed and said, God, May 2020, I prayed and said, I want to leave here, but I want to teach. I just don't know. You got to open the door. Like, can I get through a back door? Like, do I got to go through somebody's basement? Like, what do I have to do to get there? I just don't know. As I was praying, and I had my phone on like real low, and I got a text message. I was like, all right, let me finish this prayer. And my girlfriend texted me right after I was praying. No lie. After I was praying, and she said, Sakina, there's a fellowship at University of Baltimore. The pay may not be what you like, but I think that this will be a great opportunity for you. And I looked at the pay and I was like, I ain't never going back to that. Like, how I got a house now. Like, I got to pay this mortgage. Like, I was like, God, you know I like to shop. Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, this is a major cut. Like, why are you doing this to me? But then I realized that, hey, everything's not about the money right now. It's a strategy. But can I be willing to say goodbye to this job? Can I put my fears to the side and put my faith in this and say, knowing like, hey, there's something good that's going to come out of this. I applied for the fellowship, got it. And one thing about teaching is that you have to go wherever the job is at. And I prayed to God. I remember having a conversation with my mentor in like around February of 2021. I said, listen, I want to teach, but I'm not trying to move to like the West Coast. I'm not trying to, like, one of my colleagues got a job in Utah. I said, I'm not moving there. Like, I'm not, West Virginia, don't want to be there at all. I want to be local. And he was like, I think that University of District of Columbia, I think it'll be a good school for you. And I was like, really? I said, I like that school a lot. And then later on that year, they found me. I didn't search for them. They found me. And I got it. But I've learned that sometimes we hold on to things because we don't know what's on the other side. And I'm here to tell you that if you just let go and you just say goodbye, when you realize that, hey, like, I knew that was my time was up at RSM. Like, I knew it. And even though I took a lesser paying job as a fellow, my bills was always paid on time. I never missed a mortgage payment. My car got paid on time. Things worked out. When I would complain, like, God, you know, the money not coming in, like, it's still a little tight for me, I would get a new client. And I just realized, like, where is the faith? And I was like, it all starts with me. And I just got to pray to God that it'll happen. And I say all this to say that goodbyes are hard. They're hard. But you know what's even better? When you realize that when it's your time to go, it's okay to just walk away. And it's okay to know that when one door closes, another door opens. RSM, I closed that door myself. And I walked into a new opportunity that landed me to the job that I want to have forever. Somebody asked me the other day, like, well, Sakina, you're teaching here, so what's next? I said, there's no what's next. I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm exactly where I want to be. Like, I worked hard to get a law professor position. I've worked hard to get a tenure track position. And that's a lot. I don't see too many professors that look like me. I don't see too many professors that look like me and teach tax. I don't. And so that feels good, right? It feels good. I'm just thankful that I didn't let my fears overpower me to close the doors that needed to be closed so I could walk into a new one. I'm glad that friendships and relationships that failed me, I wasn't afraid to walk away and know that, hey, there's something better that's in front of me. Even though I can't touch it, right? Even though I can't see it, I believe it in my heart that something is better. I'll leave you with one thing. My friends from law school, they may say, oh my God, I know who you're talking about. So in law school, I fell in love. And I remember realizing that, hey, this is not going to work. Both knowing they were going to be lawyers and going to our prospective states. And I knew that my heart was set on Maryland. Like, I wasn't going to move anywhere else. And this person decided to be in a particular state. So there was no way, like, I was going to give that dream up to leave the Maryland, D.C. area. I remember our final. We had a class together, right? So just imagine a person that you love is in the same class. It's like, damn, this person was everything. Filled my love tanks up. Like, just imagine everything just going right, but our careers were just taking us in two different paths. And sometimes people say, you know, you guys may work it out. You may come back together again. And I think that ship has sailed. Not a bad thing. Not a bad person. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this person. Like, this guy was freaking amazing. Like, so amazing. So amazing. I'll tell him to this day, like, you know that you're amazing, right? And I remember walking out of my my final. It was over. And we already had a talk, like, where you see the relationship going, and hey, we can't do long distance. It hurt, right? It hurt knowing that, damn, like, I'm really going to say goodbye. And I don't want to. Like, I don't want to say goodbye. Just imagine you seeing somebody every single day. You're studying with this person. You're doing things together. This person supports you. They do everything that you want them to do. And then you realize, like, damn, eventually I'm going to have to say goodbye. That hurt. The thing that hurt the most was after our final, and I'm walking out, and me and my roommate were walking to our car, to get into a car, and he's walking us to the car, and I got this tight hug, and I remember just seeing him walk away to his place, and that shit hurt. It crushed me, just knowing, like, I'm gonna see him at graduation, but like, just the thought of him walking, I'm like, damn, like, this is really it. And it hurt. But what I do say is, like, even though it hurt, and it took me some time to get over this person. It took me some time. And we actually had a conversation about this last year, honestly. Like, we talked about, like, what happened, like, and we're fine with everything. Like, person still checks up on me, make sure that I'm okay. Like, always checks up on me. Asks me how my parents are. Like, just always want to make sure that I'm okay. And to this day, I know that if I really need this person, he'll be there. Like, he will be there. But the one thing that it taught me is that, and this happened like with Medea, like homecoming, you should look at it. But if something doesn't go right in your life, whether it's love, be open to try again. So even though that didn't work out, even though it hurt saying goodbye, I just know that in my heart that something else will work out. And it did, right? And that's about life. And so if you realize, like, you're at a point in your life where you want to change careers and just not sure you are, like, you're holding on to something so tight because you don't know what is to come. Like, you don't know what's out there. You don't know what you can't see, right? And just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Like, be open to break away from your fears and say, you know what, I can say goodbye to this because I know there's something out there. Something out there that's even better. I'll be open to say hello to this new thing. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it. I can't see it, but I believe it in my heart. And so, but goodbyes are hard. It is. And I realized that this year. They are hard. But I just know that whatever I want, what I really want, but if I'm holding on to something that's not serving me, whatever it is, I can't get the next best thing. And so I walk away from the things that no longer serve me. And once I did that, more doors started to open. More happiness started to flow through my heart. More joy start to happen. So believe in yourself. Be brave enough to say goodbye so you can welcome a new hello. That's all I have. It is Monday, so shout out to all the dope men out there. Do your thing. Keep doing your thing. You are amazing. You are great. You are phenomenal. And you're just freaking dope. Like, no, don't let somebody tell you otherwise. Like, you're amazing. Feed things to your soul. Your soul needs to hear it. Like, it really needs to hear it. But I hope you guys that are listening, tell a friend to follow my YouTube channel. It's Sakina Tillman. My videos are posted on there. And I hope that this month, you know, saying April showers may bring flowers. I pray that this month is full of abundance. I pray that people give you your flowers. You deserve it. Like, you deserve it. I'm going to get my flowers. The physical ones, like the actual flowers, like, that's just one bag. But I'm going to get the rest of my flowers. Whether you buy yourself flowers, somebody else give it to you. Flowers in the physical form, like the actual flower, or flowers in the form of a kind person. Like, you deserve that. But I just hope this month brings you so much joy and just so much happiness. And just know, like, you deserve all those things. Like, you deserve it. You really, really deserve it, and you have to really believe it in your heart, even though you can't see it, and even though you can't touch it. If you believe it, it's something good out there for you, whatever it may be. Take care, guys, and again, happy Monday.